There are an incredible number of ways that you can try to silence someone. You can threaten them with violence. You can tell people that their speech is equivalent to violence and shouldn't be allowed. If they have a job, you can try to get them fired if they say something you don't like. Totally unrelated to anything they do. If you want someone to keep quiet or be shut up by others, you can try all of these things. And more, of course. There are some genius ways people do this, such as creating block lists and then getting people to sign up on a false premise. But I think people are aware of all these usual methods and have talked about them plenty. What I want to talk about is one of the greatest dangers to free speech. People do talk about it, but they normally characterize it as an effect or a symptom. To me, in a lot of circumstances, I view it as a person deciding to silence someone, to cut off a voice. And the really scary thing is that it always works. If you have something you want to say, but you don't say it because you fear what might happen, you have silenced someone. Yeah, it's yourself, but it doesn't just affect you. Let's turn this into a really pretentious metaphor. If you cover someone else's mouth when they want to speak, you're also covering my ears. It is not just an action against them. It is an action against me and anyone else who could have heard them or chosen to listen to them. If you do that to yourself, and I don't mean just thinking about it and deciding, actually I don't want to say this. I mean, you think if you say it, someone else will put their hand over your mouth, so you do it for them. You are still covering my ears. Now, this can be absolutely understandable. There are situations where saying something can cost you your life. I am not going to judge someone for staying quiet. There are situations where it could cost you your livelihood, especially bad if you're supporting a family. I understand that kind of thing too. Those are situations that I see talked about a lot, and those are the situations where the people who are capable of doing so need to fight the people who would cause those consequences. However, I do think that a great deal of the time, those consequences are not on the table, and we see this when people put something up, there's outrage, and they take it down. We are just talking mean messages or upset messages. The bad thing that's happened is that thing being taken down. Or if people are anticipating that and they've decided not to post something because they might get some mean messages. The bad thing is that they didn't post it when they otherwise would have. But where I think a lot of people would put it on the people who have that strong reaction and tell them to take it down or whatever, I put the blame on the person choosing to take what they posted down or not post it or not say it. In my eyes, a relatively minuscule number of people having a bad reaction to what you say or potentially having a bad reaction to what you say doesn't justify you choosing to cover my ears. Yes, in an ideal world, people shouldn't be trying to cut off others' expression, especially creative expression. But at least up to a point, their expression of wanting you to remove it, or not say, do or post it in the first place, must be allowed. They need to be able to express that too, without crossing the lines I discussed at the beginning. I think supporting free speech means avoiding silencing anyone, and that does include yourself. If you can possibly handle what might happen as a result of you saying what you think you should, need to, or want to say, you should say it. I think it is every individual's duty to work to overcome any fear of expressing themselves. If no one allows anything to silence them, we have a much greater chance of a world where no one is silenced. Yeah. There are things that cross a line, things you are right to be afraid of if you are in a situation where someone might actually hurt you, if the consequence might mean you are unable to support your family. I get that. Like I said, that is something other people are right to fight. But if the consequence of your speech that you fear is other people's speech, the options are not you stay silent and hold your voice hostage, or the people whose speech you fear are silenced and you speak. You could also just grow a pair. In fact, if you believe in free speech, I think that's your duty. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.